What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new Life Advice with Hunter. This is the show where I sit down, read questions from viewers just like you, and give you some advice on whatever is going on in your life. And if you want to submit your own questions, you can do so by going down into the description and finding the Google form link. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into reading today's question. I think that I'm going to marry my girlfriend. We've been with each other since the start of high school, and we both are now in college. I think that she's the one for me. We are both at different colleges, but we spend a few hours on the phone each day, and I'm thinking about asking her to marry me. I just wanted to see if you think that this was the right move for me to do. She's going to college for nursing, and I'm going for tech. So our careers are looking good. All right, man. No is the answer, no. Okay, I'm sorry. I say this to everyone, and I'm going to make this clear. This is not just towards you. This is not just towards like marriage in general. You are 18 or 19 right now, brother. Let me tell you something. You are both going to change a fuck ton in the next couple years, all right? You're both going to change over the next couple months during school. Let me tell you, man, life is going to hit you like a truck, all right? And when I say that, you aren't fully developed. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but your brain isn't done developing until your late 20s. Now, I will be clear, some people make it sound like your brain is like 65% developed. Nah, bro, your brain doesn't change that much until like you're 25. But the truth of the matter is that you don't want to marry this girl. I'm being very, very honest with you here. Do not, and I mean this, do not marry this girl. And I'm saying right now, let me be clear. And I've said this before, I'm not an anti-marriage guy. I'm not some like weirdo about relationships or anything like that. I think that if marriage is the path for you, good for you. And I'm glad that you found a girl that you can connect with. But let me be clear. You both are going to change a lot over the next couple years. And I've known multiple people that thought that they found their one, right? They started dating in high school, they went off to college, and realized that they're not meant for each other. And that's just the truth, right? I'm not trying to scare you or tell you to break up with this girl, but the truth of the matter is that, let me tell you, when I was 18, my life was very different. I was a very different person, all right? Like, a lot of me has changed since then. And I think that even if you look back on the videos that I was making a couple years ago, I've changed a lot since then. You know, like when I started the series when I was 19. Yeah, I was 19. I was 19 when I started making these videos. And when I say these videos, I mean the Life Advice series. I started them at 19. I'm 21 now, right? My perspective on life has changed, and a lot of my ideas have changed. Now, to have some of my philosophies stay the same, of course. But my thing is that I don't want you to marry this girl right now because you may realize in a couple years you guys aren't built for each other, you know? And I'm going to use a Woody's gamer tag thing here. He fell in love with his wife when he was also like 19. And he didn't marry her right away. Instead, they graduated college and then they both got real jobs. That was part of his rule, is that he's like, look, her name is Jackie. He went, look, Jackie, I want you to get a real job. I want to see who you become. Because a lot can change from now, right? You know, and I could talk about this a little bit. Like the girl that I was dating for almost 3 years, we both changed a lot, right? When we both started dating, she was still in college and I was just starting out college. And then since then, just our lives have changed a lot, right? That's part of the reason why we broke up, is just that, we became different people. And there's nothing wrong with being different people. I think that's what makes us so unique as people, is that there is always going to be something different about you. There's always going to be something changing. And I think that some people think that once they hit an adult, they are going to be the same, all right? In most cases, you're not going to be, and that's fine, and that's a part of growing up. But the reason why I tell you this is because I don't want you to be somebody that decides at 19, this is what I want for the rest of my life. Because the truth of the matter is that what might happen, unfortunately, is that you guys might break up senior year, or you guys might break up after college, whatever. And if you're married, dude, it's not a separation of, oh, here's your sweatshirt back, and here's your, I don't know, your lip balm or whatever the fuck, right? That's not what we're talking about anymore. When you get married, brother, your assets are each other's. and I think that a lot of people kind of forget this in the modern landscape of marriage, is because the divorce rate right now is over 50%, which is insane to me. It shouldn't be that high. Like, divorce should never be high at all to me, and I do think that is part of it, is that some people will get divorced over nothing. I wholly heart agree with that there are a lot of people that break up and divorce over nothing. But I just don't think it's a good idea for you right now. Number one, because you're 19 or 18, one of the two. You are a young guy. And I don't want to see you make the mistake when you're super young. And this is the first girl you've dated. And I've talked about this a handful of times on the show. But that first girl that you fall in love with most likely won't be the one. And who knows? She might be. And look, come back to me in 3-4 years and be like, told you so, brother. And guess what? I'll own it, brother. I'll fucking buy you a wedding gift. I don't know. But I just wouldn't get married until your mid-20s. That's something that I firmly believe in. I don't think anybody should get married until probably like 25, 26. That's just something I believe in. Because, unfortunately, you can fuck up your life this way pretty early on, you know? I seen multiple people in my life go through divorces. And it wasn't even necessarily that they were young like you, but I've seen multiple people decide, I'm going to marry this girl. This girl seems like the one. And it wasn't what they wanted. And a lot of people have this idea of a classic traditional marriage. And that is great if that is what you want. But the only reason I mention that is because that, first of all, doesn't necessarily need to be what's for you. I want to remind people of that. If you're listening to this and you're like, I don't want to like be in a relationship at all, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't feel bad about it when I talk about this, this conversation. But the truth of the matter is that a lot of the times people will settle down right away because they have this envision that by 23 I need to be set up. No, you don't. You don't need to be set up by 23. You don't need to be set up by 25, right? You just don't. And a lot of people think that if I don't have a house, if I don't have this, if I don't have that, by the age of 25, I'm fucked. And I don't believe in that. I really don't. I think that your 20s should be the time for you to experiment, decide who you want to be, where do you want to be, who do you want to be, right? Because let me tell you, man, you may realize that I want to be in a completely different part of the country, I've done that, you know what I mean? Like, my goals since I was 18 have changed a lot, right? And I'll talk about that a little bit. Like, when I was 18, I had a goal of where I wanted to be after I graduated college. I wanted the work. I wanted the big leagues, all right? I wanted to be at a place where I was going to be the best of the best, where I was going to be the top of journalism. That was my idea. And I thought that, oh my God, when I graduated college, that's what I'm going to be. I'm going to be the number one. No. And I say that not to be mean, but to settle down your realities right now, because you're in that phase where you're 18, you think, oh my God, I'm set. I'm going to be the best person. When I graduate, I'm going to have a job the second I graduate. Brother, fuck that. Step back and think for a minute. Please, for the love of God, don't make the biggest mistake of your life. No, I was just saying. And my goals now are quite different. My goals have to, I plan on working for my local NBC affiliate when I graduate college, and I plan to do this. That's my goal right now, right? My goal is that I want to get hired back where I grew up. And I want to do that not because I hate it here or anything like that. It's literally just because my perspective on being the best has changed, right? And if you want to be the best, it takes practice. If you want to be the best, it takes a lot of effort. And the reason why I say that is because I'm going to have to go and learn the ropes. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people have this idea that everything is going to work out perfect. You're 18. You haven't really hit your first roadblock. When I was 18, man, I blew through a bunch of money, went broke, fucking, did dumb shit with money when I was 18, right? And I've learned from it, and like, everybody makes those mistakes, but, you just got to be careful about it. And I just don't want you to make the mistake of marrying a girl when you both are going to change a lot, is the thing. I'm not saying break up with a girl. I want to make that clear. But just think about it, all right? Do me a favor. Tonight, I want you to watch a movie called Road Trip. A road trip is a movie made by Todd Phillips, and is a movie basically about this guy that thinks that his high school sweetheart or his childhood sweetheart is going to be the one for him. And it's a film about accepting that she's probably not, and it's a comedy. I want to be clear. I'm not telling you to watch a drama, so I don't want you to think about that when you go into it. But it's this really, really interesting film about that, and I still think that it holds up quite well. even though it was made in the early 2000s, so like things are outdated. But like just the concept alone, I think just comes out to be a really interesting film. And I do think that you should watch it and just think about it. I'm not telling you to break up with the girl. I'm not. I don't want to get that misconstrued. But I just want you to spend a couple more years with her and decide if this is what you want. Because there's no reason to get married at your age. There literally isn't, right? Like even tax benefits aren't really a thing anymore for being married, right? The only thing that happens if you get married now is that you go in debt for a wedding ring because you're 18, so I assume you don't have the fucking money for a wedding ring. So you're going to go in debt for a wedding ring. And then you guys can buy a house, which you can't buy a house because you're 18. Once again, you don't have the credit for it, right? That's what's going to happen. There's no benefit to being married right now. Just date her, make sure that she's the one, and then you can marry her. That is my only thing. Because you may not change at all in college, right? There are people that I know that stayed relatively the same. But the truth of the matter is that she might change a lot too, you know? And I like that you guys have a career plan and all this great stuff. I just want you to take your time. I don't want you to make the mistake that I've seen my friends make and shit like that. That, you know, that will crash and burn and will eventually break up or already have broken up. It's a scary thought, and I just don't want to see you go down that path. But, yeah, man, I want to say thank you for your question. And if you, the viewer, has any more questions like this, feel free to go into the description, find the Google form link, leave it in the comments, join our Discord server, or find me on social media. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.